Hello, Richard, again. Greetings from my yoga shed. Okay, so this particular practice session is, I'm going to call it yoga with a twist for a couple of reasons. First reason is there's a bit of twisting, but some of that, which is good. It's good for our spine. It's good for our digestive system, providing we've not just eaten a big breakfast or dinner. Yeah, and it makes you feel good. Just imagine all of those organs getting squeezed in a twist. Actually good for our breathing as well, because it forces us to use our ribs, our upper rib cage, to open or create space for the lungs to go to. Because when you're twisting, the diaphragm, it's got nowhere to go. So to get air into the lungs, you need to be a little bit more resourceful with your breath. So stretching those intercostal muscles, getting them to work, which can only be good because they're breathing muscles as well. And the other reason is yoga with a twist is because we're going to chuck some Pilates in at the end, just to try to tighten the core up. And then we'll finish off with some more twisting. So it's like a twist sandwich, if you like. Okay. And I hope you enjoy it. If you enjoy it, give me a like. If you don't give me a dislike. Send an email to complaints@richardsyoga.org and we'll get straight back to you. Okay. So if you've just had breakfast, maybe give it an hour. If you haven't, let's get started. So find a comfortable seated position. Don't have to have legs crossed. Maybe prop your pelvis on a block. That'll release your hips a little bit. But if you're okay sitting cross-legged, rest your hands down on your knees. Lift up through your spine. Like the t-shirt. It's cool, isn't it? Lift up through the crown of the head. Tuck the chin in slightly. Going to do some little bit of almost box breathing. So first couple of breaths, just allow the lungs to fill. So feel the chest rise. Feel the collarbone rise. And release through the mouth. It's a really nice, relaxing, releasing breath, that first breath, first couple of breaths, actually. So breathe in, lift up the chest, feel the lungs. When you release, soften the shoulders. It makes you realize how much tension you carry in your shoulders, your neck, which we all do every day. So soften where you can, soften in the hips, and then natural, normal breath. Bringing your mind onto the breath, dialing your mind into your practice. Maybe closing your eyes, maybe having a little smile behind your eyes, maybe smiling with your lips. Being thankful for the start of some yoga. And as you breathe now, you're going to take a count of 4 on the inhale. Hold the breath at the top for 5, same type of count. Exhale for a count of 7. 4, 5, 7 breath. And then inhale for 4 again. Do 4 rounds of this. Just in the count, the cadence to suit so that you can breathe comfortably. As you breathe out, pull the tummy button in, really exhaust the lungs. Make this one the last one. And then come out of that process, normal breathing, open your eyes. Really nice way of getting grounded, getting centered, tying the mind down into the body, the breath. And now we'll start our practice. So we're going to come onto our fronts, into tabletop, knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, cat-cow. So breathing into the lungs here, target the breath to the bottom of the lungs as you drop the tummy down, lift the head, point the bum up, and breathing out, rounding through the shoulders, tucking the tailbone under, pulling the tummy button in. 3 of these with your breath, just feeling how the spine is. If you find any sensitivities in your spine, just be very cautious when you go into these twists. Anything you do in this session, please take responsibility for yourself. Be compassionate with your body. It's not a competition, even for yourself. There's no ego in yoga. We just work to our limits of range of movement. Okay. And then rock the hips from side to side, shoulders forwards and backwards. Stretching out the hands in front of you, keeping the hips on top of the knees, and lower the chest down as you find this Anahatasana Cat Stretch. Reaching as far forward as you can. If you want, maybe take the hips a little bit further back as you make that stretch a little bit deeper, taking a few breaths here. And then working your way up. Bring the hands forward, slightly further forward at the shoulders. With an inhale, thread the needle. Take the left arm out to the side and up, open up the front of the chest. And with an exhale, glide that hand under the right armpit and across, so the left shoulder comes towards the floor. Make any adjustments you need to get your left shoulder down on the floor. If your left shoulder doesn't land, just stay where you are as far across as you can. If you can get your left shoulder on the floor, gently push into the mat with the right hand as you find a twist now. First twist. So see how you feel here. See how the spine is. This will give you an indication of how you will go through this class. If it's really uncomfortable for you, then maybe dial into one of the other classes, because this is going to get a bit tasty as we go through the class. And then slowly draw that left arm all the way back, plant it down on the mat. Okay, and then we go again on the other side. So on the inhale, take the right hand out to the side and up. Hello. And then come all the way across the body. Stretch as far as you can, get that right shoulder grounded, rest the head on the side of the mat. Gently push into the mat with the left hand, finding that twist now through the shoulders this side. Then draw that right hand out. And then tucking the toes in, going to lift into downward dog. So push back into the toes, lift the knees away, lift the hips up, take the hips back, start to straighten the legs, and then stretch out through the legs by bending the knees, pedaling through, just loosening off any tightness in the back of your legs. You come up onto your toes, send the heels down, bend the knees, take the knees close to the floor as you stretch out through the back, and then straighten the legs out, keeping that back stretch. We'll do that again. So bend the knees, okay, lowering the chest down, keeping the arms nice and long here, and then slowly straighten the legs out. Try not to move the arms. You get a really good stretch at the backs of the legs. Then look up between your hands, bend the knees, walk to the top of your mat, bend the forward bend, and then take hold of opposite elbows with opposite hands and stretch out through the upper shoulders here. So you rock from side to side in ragdoll, forwards and backwards. And then drop the hands down, tuck the chin in, roll to an upright position. Inhaling the hands up nice and high. Bending the knees, exhaling, taking the hands down towards the floor. Hands come onto your ankles or shins. Inhaling, lift the chest into a half forward bend here. Find that tension in the back of your legs. A couple of breaths here. Lean onto the balls of the feet, light on the heels, lift the sit bones up. Feel a little bit more tension in the back of the legs. Bending the knees, planting the hands down on the floor, walking back to a downward dog position. Couple of breaths here, looking back at your ankles. Then inhale through to plank. You can drop onto your knees if this is already too much for you. But if you're in plank here, take a few breaths here. And drop down onto your knees, lower your chest and chin down, tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale as you peel the chest away from the mat into cobra, bringing the elbows or tucking the elbows in, lifting up through the crown of the head, putting the shoulders back. Couple of breaths here. Exhale down. Inhale onto your knees, tuck the toes in, exhale into downward dog. Inhale the left leg nice and high. Three-legged dog, bend the knee, take the knee out to the side. As you open up that left hip, look back at your right ankle as you push that right heel into the floor. Now lift that left knee even higher to the ceiling to get a deeper rotation in the hip. Bring that left leg in line. Same on the other side. So right leg lifts up, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, take the knee out to the side. And then that compromises the ground of that left foot. So look back at that left foot, then push that left heel back down into the floor. Now lift that right heel up even more as you open up the hip. Thinking about good form, good foundation, good alignment. Bring that right leg all the way back down to the floor. Look up between the hands, bend the knees, jump, step, skip, run to the top of the mat, tuck the chin in, roll up standing. Inhale the hands up, tall mountain. Straight leg forward bend as you swan dive down towards the floor. Bend the knees if it's hard on your lower back. Otherwise, come into a straight leg forward bend. Finding real tension in the back of the legs now. Maybe take the hands behind the legs, use a bind here to pull the chest and the head further towards the floor. Then bend the knees, plant the hands down. Step back to a plank position this time. Leveling out the body. And maybe some knee taps. Keeping the whole body steady, allowing the knees to bend. So a little bit of core work needed here to keep that stability through the spine as these knees go up and down. Straighten the legs out, lower down. Tops of the feet on the mat. Pull through and up into high cobra or even upward dog if you lift your pelvis off the mat, pulling the shoulders back. And then into downward dog, you can drop onto your knees and lift into downward dog, or you can lift your hips up, step or roll over the toes into dog. And breathe. Okay, lift the left leg nice and high, three-legged dog. Come up onto the toes of the right foot, lift a bit of height in the hips. Step that left foot forward between the hands. Okay, come to high lunge. So inhale, sweep the hands forwards and up into high lunge. Okay, take a moment here to find this stability, good ground and even pressure through both feet. Left knee points over left toes. Okay, going to come into rocket. So what that is bending at the hips, taking the whole of the arms and the torso forwards, so it almost aligns with that straight right leg behind you. Needs quite a bit of core work here. Ground or really pushing into that left leg, the left quads. Bring your hands to your heart center. Twist to the left to tuck your left elbow, and I'm going to turn around so you can see your left elbow on the outer side of that left knee. If you can't reach around that far, don't worry too much about it. Take that elbow towards that knee. And look back if you can, finding this really good twist. Use the elbow as a bind if you can. Turn and look down at your left foot, keeping your core engaged. We're going to step the right foot next to the left foot into a twisting chair. Take a moment just to re-establish your foundation here, your grounding. Drop the right hand down. You can stay here, but if you want to go deeper here, straighten the arms out and use that right arm as a bind as you look up at that left hand. Or you can keep your arms Your hands where they are. And then bring your hands together. I'm going to turn all the way around to chair, twisting chair on the other side. So turn the body all the way through. I'll come back around this side. On this side. Again, using that bind if you can, but just going as far as you can with your body. It's a twist. And then straighten the arms out. If you can get the bind on, it can allow you to go a little bit deeper into this twist. And breathe. Think about those ribs, postural muscles. Bring the hands to heart center. Okay, we're going to step the left leg back into lunge. Twisting lunge. So take your time here to establish this twist here. Okay, and establish your lunge position. Release the hands, turn the body forward. Inhale the hands up into rocket on this side. And then lift the arms up into high lunge. Exhale, take the hands all the way to the floor. Well done. Step back into downward dog. Pedaling out the legs here. Inhale through to plank. Exhale all the way down. Knees, chest, chin. Tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale, pull through and up into high cobra, or even upward dog if you wish. Exhale down. Inhale to tabletop. Exhale into dog. Inhale the right leg nice and high into three-legged dog, coming up onto the toes of the left foot. Step that right foot forward between the hands. Okay, same sequence from this side. Inhale the hands up nice and slowly into high crescent. Taking a moment here to find that even grounding through both feet. And breathe. Coming to rocket as you lean forwards out of the hips, arms reaching high. Finding the work going on now in the body. Pulling your core in. Your solar plexus comes into your spine, into your rib cage. As you reach as high as you can with those hands, trapezius active. Right knee points over right toes. Push back into that left heel. Bring your hands to your chest. Turn to the right. Find a twisting lunge here, as we did before. Go as far as you can. As you come into the fourth or fifth breath, reapply your attention to your grounding, your foundation, your alignment. Look down at your right foot. Step to the top of the mat, twisting chair. Stay here if this is enough for you, or extend the arms for a deeper bind, deeper twist. And then bring the hands together again. Going to twist all the way around to the other side. Turn in. Finding a twisting chair on this side. And grounding down into that left foot. As you step the right leg back, find twisting lunge here. Again, establish your grounding, your alignment. Pushing back into that right heel, keeping the bind on, keeping the twist on. And then release, coming to rocket on this side, lifting the arms up, thinking about that nice line through from the heel to the fingers. You'll know you're in alignment when you really feel the work in that left quad and that engagement in your core and your upper back, your trapezius, all working. Straighten up here, high lunge. Well done, very good. Exhale down. Step back into dog. There's me naturally assuming you've done all that, which I'm sure you have. I'm absolutely convinced you have. Inhale to plank. Exhale to the ground. Inhale, cobra, upward dog. Exhale, release. Inhale to tabletop. Tuck the toes in. Exhale into downward dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Slightly different sequence coming up. Okay. Inhale, the left leg nice and high. Come up onto the toes of the right foot. Step that left foot forward between the hands. Low lunge. Inhale, lift up, high lunge. Establish the foundation here, grounding, pushing back into that right heel, lifting the right knee up. Left knee tracks over left toes. Slowly turn to your left, dropping the right arm in front and the left hand behind. Okay, we're going to windmill around. This is a really slow process now. Dropping the left arm down, lifting the right arm up as you turn to the front. Arms are now vertical, turning to the front. Lower your right heel down, lift your left arm in front of you, take your right arm behind you for warrior two. Okay. I'm going to quickly turn around. Okay, resting your left forearm on your left thigh. Take your right arm behind you, palm faces away. Turn and look back over your right shoulder for a twist here in warrior. You can stay here if this is enough for you. If you've got the range of movement, either grab your left thigh with your right hand. You can just see me waving at you there. And pull the shoulders round again, deeper. Or drop the left hand down, bend the elbow, find a bind with that right hand, and then use that bind to take the shoulders, that right shoulder back. Either way is okay. It's deepening the rotation. And release that bind, come all the way back to warrior two. Okay, now we're going to windmill down to the floor. Okay, step the right foot forwards by about a foot. Okay, and then slowly come to an upright position. So we're still in the same foundation as we would be for warrior two or triangle, but the feet, the stride length slightly narrower. Turn your hips. You might need to negotiate with your feet here. Turn your hips to face the front to make sure it's comfortable in your sacroiliac joint, in your legs, okay? It's got to be quite comfortable with hips square. We're going to come into a revolve triangle. So now take the hands, drop the hands down the side. Now, if you've got a block or a book handy, it might help. Okay, so with that nice narrow stride length, turn the hips face the front of the mat. Take the left hand behind you, just put that to the side for the minute. Take the right hand, bend forwards. So the right hand goes really long. You'll feel tension in your left hamstring already. Drop that right hand down, either onto your foot or a block, either on the outside of that left foot or the inside, to get that stability. And then when you've got that stability, or even that hand comes to the floor, if you've got the range of movement, when you've got the stability, turn your shoulders to the left or turn your left shoulder up, take your left hand up towards the ceiling, revolve triangle. Hold and breathe here. Wherever you are, hand on block, Hand on shin. Find that tension in your body and breathe into it and soften where you can, but maintain that stability. Okay, bring that left hand into the back again. Slowly come upright and step the foot back a little bit, finding warrior two. Well done. Windmill down, lifting that right heel up. Step back, downward dog. Inhale through to plank. Exhale to the ground. Inhale up into cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale onto your knees. Tuck the toes in. Exhale into dog. Whew. Inhale in the right leg nice and high. Come up onto the toes of the left foot. Exhale, step your right foot forward between the hands. Okay. And then we're going to inhale all the way up into a high crescent lunge. Okay, taking a moment to find your foundation. And then slowly turning the shoulders through to the right this time, left arm in front, right hand behind. Stretching out with the arms, keeping the core engaged, lifting that left knee up and maybe bending that right knee. Breathing nice and slowly. Sometimes when we soften the breath in positions of intense effort, they don't seem as hard. Breath is a great way to control our emotions. And this builds up your endurance, builds up your stamina in your practice. Without even moving, it's fascinating. Yoga never ceases to fascinate me. Okay, slow movement now. Drop the right arm down, lift the left hand up, arms are vertical. Turn to the face of the front. Keep that right arm coming forwards, left arm back as you rotate that left heel down. Turning your chest into the left slightly to find warrior two. Just a step around here. Okay. Go for this warrior twist now. So you've got a couple of options. Bend in your elbow, forearm on thigh. Left arm behind, palm out the way. Twist through the axial body. The axial body is the tailbone to the crown of the head, so the top bit of your body. Just a crazy scientific term. Pulling that left shoulder back. Maybe get this left hand round. Hello, see me? And bind on the leg. Pull the left shoulder back, look back. Or maybe drop down. Get a bind on behind the back so you can really work those shoulders. Again, keeping that breath nice and steady. Taking the emotion out of this. And enjoying it. Enduring it, enduring. Semantics. You say tomato. Releasing. Come back to warrior two. Okay. The windmill down. Hands come down either side of that right foot. And then step that left foot forwards a little bit. And then come back up. Okay, going to do revolve triangle on this side. So square the hips. Just check that you're not constrained too tight, too uncomfortable around the base of your spine here. Taking the left hand behind out of the way. Start bending at the hips as you take that right hand behind, left hand forwards, and then lower that left hand down onto the shin, ankle, or the floor. Get some good grounding. Legs are as straight as you can make them. Turn your shoulders to the right, take the right hand up and look up at that right hand. Finding this stability and breathe in nice and steadily. Bringing that right arm down and slowly coming up. We're establishing warrior two. I'm smiling because I always get confused with left and right when I'm looking upwards and backwards. My brain doesn't work properly. Okay, and then we're going to windmill all the way down. Lift that left heel up, step back into downward dog. Pedal out the legs here. Inhale through to plank. Hold plank, couple of breaths. And then slowly lower to the floor. Take the feet out nice and wide. Take the arms down the side of the body. We're only going to do a half lotus here, a locust here. So lift the chest away, keep the feet grounded, drive the arms down the sides of the body here. So all the work's coming in your spinal erectors. With the feet grounded, we're not really working the hamstrings. We just want to get a little bit of work going on in the lower back. And release. Hands come down either side of the rib cage. Push up onto your knees. Take your knees out to the edges. Big toes together. Sit back into extended child. Let the forehead come to the floor. Take a few big belly breaths here. Targeting your breath into the bottom of your lungs. And on the exhale, pulling up your pelvic floor. Really important to keep that connection with your pelvic floor. Like you're stopping yourself going to the toilet. And if that means clenching your bottom, clenching your urinary tract, that's okay. Over time, you will be able to connect with your perineum, which is the muscle which sits right in the middle. And the more you do these engagements, these pulling your pelvic floor up, the more focused will be your connection. Works, it really does. And you will be targeting that middle muscle. Okay. So I mentioned yoga with a twist. We've done quite a few twists. We're going to do a little bit of Pilates. I don't think I'll get reported to the Yoga Council, or wherever is the Yoga Council for this, because the paths generally cross anyway. So on our fronts, in fact, what we'll do is come down on our elbows, forearms parallel. Straighten out the legs. We'll come into an elbow plank, which actually is yoga anyway. So any of this is too much for you, you can drop onto your knees and just take some time out or come into child pose. But with your shoulders on top of your elbows, nice and straight through legs, push back onto the heels. Okay, already the core's engaged now. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift the right leg off of the mat by about several inches and hold here for a few breaths. Keeping your core engaged, so pulling your navel, your tummy button into your spine. And drop that foot down. And then with the left foot, about several inches off of the mat. Keeping the breath nice and slow. Okay, drop that foot down. So now lift both feet. I'm joking. Okay, drop the knees down and just stretch out in child here. Just take a moment's relief from our shoulders. We're going to come back and do a little bit more on our forearms, our elbows. So when you're ready, come back into elbow plank. Tap the feet out a little bit wider apart. Okay, this time we're going to lift the left leg, lift the right arm. So the right forearm off the mat, left leg off the mat. Drop back down and across the other side. Left forearm, right foot. Back down. Trying to keep the integrity of the plank if you can. But using your core to keep the posture. If you can't do this, don't worry. It's quite intense. Stay with one leg. And release. Whew. Come up into a tabletop and a couple of cat-cows. Just keep the movement going. Let the breath, the heart rate calm down a little bit. Okay, and then come back in tabletop. So what we're going to do now is work with the breath, particularly the exhale. So as you exhale, pull your tummy button in and then hold the tummy button in and breathe normally, but keeping that tummy button pulled in. Just for a couple of breaths. Get used to that feeling of engagement while you breathe. And we move on the exhale, keeping the engagement, but as you exhale, pull that tummy button in even harder, okay? So the movement is going to be right knee lifts. Inhale down. Exhale, left knee lifts. Breathing it out as it lifts. So blow in and go in. Pulling that tummy button even more. Inhale down. Exhale, blow and go. What we're trying to do here is keep our hips rock solid. So the tummy button pulled in stabilizes the hips. So it's just the femur rotating in the socket that's moving. It's really important. This is what this is all about. Developing your center, as the Pilates crowd call it. Try to keep the rest of the body rock solid. So if you imagine if you've got that core contraction throughout, and when you start stressing the body by putting extra load on the hips, you exhale and tighten everything up, then the hips don't move. You just get the legs moving. And you realize after several of these, how good this is for my core. Because I can really feel that core working now. And I'm not even doing sit-ups, because I hate sit-ups, because they stretch my neck. Keep going as much as you can. 2 more. Well done. Okay, and then release and then just loosen off. Nearly there. Well, nearly there on the front ones. Okay, this one's quite an interesting one. Core engagement again. Take the knee out to the side, straighten the leg, toe tap, leg back in, down. Okay, so on the exhale, in fact, it might be a couple of breaths. See how you go. If you can keep that core contraction. So inhale, exhale, inhale down. Inhale, exhale, down. Down. Two more. Good. Okay, you'll cross your ankles, roll down onto your backs. onto your lower back. Lumbar spine on the ground. Shoot the legs out, nice and high. Lift the shoulders, the head up, take the arms straight ahead of you. With an exhale, lift your shoulders towards your chest, inhale down. Not all the way down, keeping the lower back grounded. Any of this is too much for you, simply take a seated posture and sweep your arms up and down, which is where we're going in a little while. Bend the knees, come up to seated. That's enough of that. Okay. I'm going to take a couple of twists now. So we're going to take a conventional easy twist with legs crossed. Go lift up through the spine, twist to the right, left hand on right leg. Now just come sideways, left hand on right leg, right hand behind to lift up through the spine. Inhale on an exhale, turn your shoulders around, turn and look over that right shoulder. Use the hands as a bind to twist into this posture. And I always try to follow up any core work with a twist, as it's a great way of softening through the tummy. Because all of that core work tends to tighten up your core. And that's okay, but it then really, it stops you doing, it fights against back bends and other postures. And release. Turn around to the other side, right hand on left knee, left hand behind. Lift up through the spine again, and then slowly turn around to the left. As you turn and look over that left shoulder, pull the tummy button in and go into some deep compression here and breathing through the tops of the ribs. And release. Okay. Just make sure, hopefully the mic's still working. Come down onto our backs now. Pull our knees into a chest, massage the lower back. Dropping the right foot down, ankle on, left ankle on top of right leg. Take the head and shoulders back down to the mat. And then a rotation down to the side. So taking that left knee down to the side of the body, lift the right hand up and gently pull that left knee down. As you turn and look towards your left hand, find a twist here. And release, look up, taking that right hand away. Bring the knees back to center, drop the left foot down. We go for a twist on the other side, so right ankle on top of left knee. Rotating to the left this time. As that knee comes down to the side, lift the left hand up and gently pull that knee down. And turn and look towards your right hand. And breathe. Releasing, softening the right shoulder, keeping the pressure down on that right knee. Maybe visualizing your spine as it moves from one direction to the other direction. Turn and look up, come all the way back. Okay. Couple more sort of core things, I guess, more about functional stability than core though. Really about building the integrity of your lower body. So bringing your feet up to your glutes and then rest your head and shoulders on the floor. So I'll show you what this looks like, and then we'll all give it a go. So we're going to come into a bridge pose, but we're going to bring our arms, cross our arms, and rest our hands onto our shoulders and lift into bridge. So the same sort of principle as we were doing before, where we try to keep the hips nice and steady. So what we do is we pull our tummy button in, so really engage the core, flatten the ribs, keep that engagement, breathe through the tops of the lungs, the ribs, if you like, but keep that engagement. And every time we move a limb away from the body, we'll do it on the exhale and we'll tighten that engagement even further. So what this looks like is hands on shoulders, keeping the integrity of your core integrity here. As you exhale, float the right leg up, point the toes, inhale down, and then transition on the exhale as the left leg comes up. So do this a couple of times. At first, you'll start to wobble. So trying to keep your hips coming up as high as you can. Press hard into the mat with the grounding leg. Inhale down, and then as you exhale to lift that leg off of the mat, pull your tummy button in even higher, keeping the hips nice and steady. Blow and go. Really doubling up on the pressure in your core as that leg extends. And release. Bring the knees into the chest and squeeze your knees a couple of times. Just massage your lower back. Okay. And then roll up to a seated position. Straighten out the right leg. Step the left foot over the right knee. Turn your shoulders to the right. So you get your elbow tucked against that right knee. Take your right hand behind to keep your spine upright, and then twist around to the right here into fishes. One version of half Lord of the Fishes. Pulling the tummy button in and using the bind again to twist and look back over your right shoulder. And release. And then it's the left leg extended, right knee over, or right leg over, just on the outside of that left knee. Turn to the left, right arm into the knee. Left hand's there for support. Pull the tummy button in and turn deep around to the left. Use that bind to take the shoulders around a bit further. Not forgetting that left ankle flexed. So active in your left ankle here. So your gastroc muscles also engaged. And release. All right, nearly done. Coming into bent knee forward bend, straighten out through the left leg, sole of the right foot into the thigh. Turn to the left here for a little twist here as the right hand comes onto the outer edge of that left leg. And again, use some leverage here. And then a gentle forward bend, keeping the chest quite high, lower back quite flat. Take the hands down on that straight leg and pull forwards with the chest, keeping the chin and the chest high. Let's stretch out through that hamstring of the left leg, soften through the right knee. Find a sense of release through both legs. In terms of no contraction muscles around the knees. So you're pulling against soft tissue in that hamstring. Slowly release. Same again the other side. So bent knee, forward bend. Coming forwards, nice and flat in the lower back. Reach forwards or take your hands down on that leg and use the bind to pull the chest forwards, taking your right sit bone backwards, find tension in your hamstring. Breathe nice and softly here, releasing contractions around this left knee. Releasing contractions around the right knee. Pulling against soft tissue, calming the breath down. Going a bit longer with each exhale. Release. Come down onto your lower back. Pull the knees in one more time. Take your arms out nice and wide. Keep the knees nice and high. Inhale. As you exhale, rotate the hips to the right. Let the knees come down towards the right elbow. Clamp the knees down. Turn and look back at your left hand. Soften through the left shoulder, left arm. Take a few slow breaths here in this supine twist. Turn and look up at the ceiling. Release the knees. Bring the knees back to center. Keep the movement going. Roll them all the way down to the left elbow as they come down. Clamp them down with your left hand. Then turn and look towards your right hand. Soften through the right shoulder for a supine twist here. Releasing the knees, bring the knees back up to center. One more squeeze of your knees here. Drop the feet down, soles of the feet come together. Let the hips open, head and shoulders on the floor. Hands onto your belly. And 4 rounds of 4, 5, 7 breath here as we started. Breathe down into the deep part of the lungs so the belly, soft belly rises. Breathe in, count to 4. Hold for 5, breathe out for 7. And after you've done 3 or 4 of those, straighten the legs out, take the feet to the bottom corners of the mat, take the hands away from the body, and you can spend some time here in Shavasana, just softening, releasing, letting go of your body, bringing your mind onto your breath. And steadying your mind as you soften through your whole body. But I'm going to leave it there. So thanks for this yoga with a twist. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like. If you didn't, complain. And hope to see you in a public class somewhere across Wokingham. If not, take a look at some of the other vids. I'm going to put one up shortly about sun salutations to help you with home practice. Hopefully that'll be quite interesting. Okay, stay safe. Bye-bye.